Welcome, everybody. You know, if you were wondering what a second Trump administration might look like, who'd be in charge, what kind of decisions they would make, we now have a pretty clear picture. And it looks sort of like a group project gone very, very wrong. Remember in school when you'd be assigned, maybe this is just my experience. Remember in school when you'd be assigned to a group project and there was like one person in the group who didn't carry their weight, and it was either allow everybody to fail or just kind of like do their work for them. Well, what happens when every person in the group is the drag down that can't do anything right? Well, that's what we are seeing with Donald Trump's cabinet. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of the cabinet fiascos of this week alone. And what we were quickly thinking as we put this clip together was there's not a single adult voice in the room, even like the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. Okay, not someone we agree with politically, but maybe somewhat more competent. And then we've now got the Signal chat fiasco. So it's bad all the way down. Let's start with Donald Trump introducing his Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., as the guy who is going to be in charge of health aspects of the educational process. Now, if you're saying, David, what does that mean? I don't know. Let's see what it was.
And Bobby is going to be taking over their various medical aspects and health aspects of the educational process. So, and he's going to do a fantastic job of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just say that I'm very grateful to you and very grateful for the partnership with Doge, with Elon. We've identified extraordinary waste in my department and HHS.
All right. So Trump just kind of randomly stringing together words. And then we hear from RFK Jr. specifically. Now, understand that putting RFK in charge of the health aspects of education, that could mean nutrition, it could mean vaccines, it could be banning books about puberty. I mean, I have no idea what that even means. But here is RFK following up saying we will be restoring science. All right.
None of them talking to each other. We are, with Elon's help, eliminating the redundancies. We are streamlining our department. We're going to go back to providing gold standard science. We're going to get the money to the scientists and to the patients rather than to the administrators.
They're going to bring science to patients.
And we're going to restore gold standard science, and we're going to make America healthy again.
We're going to do it. Now, who is speaking in the least intelligible word salads there? I'll leave it to you to decide. But this sort of gold standard science line from RFK is particularly rich, given that he has spent 20 years undermining actual science. If you ask me, who has most prominently undermined science over the last 20 years in the United States, I don't know that it's the number one guy is RFK Jr., but it's certainly up there. It's like putting Alex Jones in charge of the National Archives and saying, we finally got the guy here who's going to restore truth. Okay, so then we go to Kristi Noem, another Trump loyalist. She announced at the Bonkers cabinet meeting, she will be going to the brutal Salvadorian prison where Trump illegally deported migrants in order to build relationships with who, you might ask?
Escalate and to go up, sir, this week I'm headed down to El Salvador. I'll be in the prison where we sent TDA members. I'll be meeting with the president and also Colombia and Mexico and talking about building these relationships so that we can continue to get people out of this country that don't belong here and take them home. And also you had talked to me about sending the message worldwide about the fact that people shouldn't be coming to this country and they shouldn't be coming here illegally. So we are in several other countries around the world with a message right now.
Imagine that conversation. Hey, Kristi, Don here. People shouldn't be coming here illegally. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Now that's saying if you are thinking about coming to America illegally and coming here, don't do it. You are not welcome. We have a legal process to becoming a United States citizen, and there are consequences if you come here illegally, and America has changed because we're putting Americans first.
Right. So, of course, nothing screams diplomatic engagement like photo ops in a prison notorious for alleged human rights abuses. strongman aesthetics for Instagram. And then she did it. As we covered yesterday, here is her message with shirtless men in a cage behind her in El Salvador.
Here at CCOT today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally.
Right.
You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use.
All right, so we talked about this yesterday. This is a dystopian nightmare. Everything they're doing there is against the law. The deportations, the court said don't do it. They did it anyway. And now they are flaunting it. They are going there and doing videos. All right, so that's Kristi Noem. We then get to Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth, just a few days ago, looked directly into the camera and said, "We used to look like fools when Joe Biden was president."
Under the previous administration, we looked like fools. Not anymore. President Trump has reestablished American leadership. The F-47 is part of it. And Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. We don't look like fools anymore. Not only is the cabinet a mix of conspiracy theorists and self-aggrandizing billionaires and Fox News hosts and right-wing influencers, but Pete Hegseth himself is now involved in the most embarrassing national security failure, certainly of this presidency, certainly of the last decade, maybe longer, wherein specifics were shared about attack plans in Yemen on a Signal chat that involved a journalist who had no business being there. This was just days ago that Hegseth said, it used to be the case that we looked like fools, but now we don't. Well, now we do. We then have Elon Musk. Elon Musk wearing a Trump was right about everything hat at Trump's cabinet meeting. Further embarrassing as a member of this, it's not a cabinet member, right? Not even subject to confirmation hearings, but another element of this group of people.
They were handing out loans, $330 million worth of loans to people under the age of 11. I think the youngest, Kelly, was a 9-month-old who got a $100,000 loan. That's a very precocious baby we're talking about here. They were handing out.
All right. So there is Elon continuing to tell stories that are never proven about Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, wearing a Trump was right about everything hat. This is one of the main decision makers in the country right now. How do you feel about that? I know there are some people who feel good. I am not one of them. And then finally, every time Trump gives us like a glimpse into who he's bringing along for the ride in 2025, it becomes more obvious. It's not just that the wheels are loose. They are flying off of the clown car, and everybody in the car is insisting everything's completely fine. From the outside, we can tell that it isn't. Here is Marco Rubio, admittedly one of the less whacked out members of the cabinet, throwing National Security Advisor Mike Waltz under the bus, as we talked about yesterday when Rubio here says somebody made a big mistake. He's talking about Waltz, the MAGA civil war has begun.
First question, let me just say on the Signal thing. This thing was set up for purposes of coordinating how everyone was going to call. When these things happen, I need to call foreign ministers, especially of our close allies. We need to notify members of Congress. Other members of the team have different people they need to notify as well. And that was the purpose of why it was set up. Obviously, someone made a mistake. Someone made a big mistake and added a journalist. Nothing against journalists, but you ain't supposed to be on that thing. So they got on.
Someone made a big mistake. So now Rubio getting into it, saying Waltz is the guy who made a big mistake. This is not a surprise. This is an embarrassment. The world sees it. When you choose your cabinet by watching Fox News and just saying, who's even richer than me that I might be able to suck in? Who donated a lot of money to me? Elon Musk. Who will lay down like a doormat and let me walk all over them and do whatever I tell them to do, regardless of what the law says, regardless of what due process says we're supposed to provide? Who are the people that check these boxes? This is what you get. It's embarrassing and it's humiliating, but it's where we are. People in my audience know I am a bit of a pastry connoisseur, Our sponsor, Wild Grain, is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are customizable depending on what you like and prefer. They've got their classic variety box. They've launched the new gluten-free box. They have a plant-based box that's 100% vegan. And it just takes the hassle out of baking because all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less, nothing to clean up. My experience has been awesome. I love the croissants. I was having people over last week, half an hour before, preheat and throw them in the oven, and people love it. Definitely, the croissants are my favorite. The quality and the freshness of the items is extraordinary, and it is just so convenient. Go to wildgrain.com/Pacman to start your subscription and get $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box every month. The link is in the description.